start. When the audio guys ready, we're ready.
We good? Yeah, what a night. That truly was the greatest setting in college football when get a night like that and pack that place, and that was fun for our guys and our coaches, and I hope our fans enjoyed it too, because that was special. Really proud of how hard they played, how good they played, and we're still work in progress, but that was a good step forward. A lot of respect for Stanford. I know they didn't have all their guys, and that made a difference. But I'm still really proud of how putting two halves together, and they're focused at halftime, came back out, and still did a really good job making plays. So, yeah.
Did you think you'd be able to pressure the passer like that?
Probably across the board. You don't think you're going to do, how those guys played on offense and defense and special teams, and, you don't think it's going to go that well against a team like Stanford. But like I said, it's kind of one of those nights where they were probably a little shorthanded, and we were clicking on all cylinders, and the guys played hard. And, I really don't want to underestimate, I think those kids were playing really inspired ball by the energy in that stadium. They were excited to play Stanford anyways, but I know it hasn't felt like that certainly since I've been there and been here. And so I know that was a different deal for them. It was awesome.
Coach, you were on the other end of that when they opened up Husky Stadium in 2013. Were there any similarities in terms of the noise?
Absolutely no similarities when I was here at that time.
Coach, people have been reading the rankings and seeing the scores, but this is the first time that I think the country saw you on a national stage like that. What do you think you showed people?
Yeah, like I said, this league is so. That's the thing that I think all the coaches know in this league is it's awesome for tonight, and then we know what can happen next week if you don't show up, and show up with your A game, because I just really think everybody can beat everybody on any given night. I just think our league is unique in terms of that and the different styles that you see. And Stanford's a really unique, different style. That's one of the things that I'm really, really pleased and really happy about is, having a short week. I thought our coaches did an unbelievable job, game planning for these guys. And then we practiced hard, really hard as we could for having a short week. And, we felt like the preparation was really good. And so, it was one of those nights, and we're good and took the next step, and that's really all it is. And we got to go back to work, and we know how challenging the next game can be, and I mean that completely sincere. We'll enjoy this one tonight, and then try to figure out how to take the next step.
You've talked before about how much you admire the Stanford program. So how much more meaningful is the way you guys played tonight in terms of where this program is progressing?
Well, I think it's a really good win. There's no question. This is a good team and a good program, and I think if you can beat Stanford, you're feeling good about yourself. And just in terms of how it ended up, like I said, I think it's kind of one of those nights where it's all clicking for us, and I think these guys, our team has a lot to them. That's those are the flashes that we've been seeing and feeling for a long time, and it's nice when it all kind of comes together at home in this environment. And I think it's really cool that the '91 team was here, and probably some of those guys hadn't been back here for a long time to be in this environment, and probably think this is exactly how it was when we left. And it's obviously been a little different, but it was great to honor those guys and play that hard and have this type of night.
Chris, what stood out to you about the way you guys played at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I thought that was good, because we all know Stanford's very good at the line of scrimmage on both sides. And I'm anxious to go put this tape on and just kind of look at it and look at some of our guys individually blocking and getting off blocks. But that was probably the number one thing that probably jumped out, is I thought our guys on both sides of the line really showed up tonight, and we're ready to compete.
Coach, this is a big game on a national stage, and to me, I know Jake Browning, he's still a young guy, but he just looked like he was in total control and really took another step forward today. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, he was on, and, you know, that ball comes out, he can throw that ball with good anticipation, and he knows where to go with the ball, and a lot of times it was his second and third guy, and it was coming out quickly to that guy, or it was coming out very quickly to his first guy before anyone could react. I thought he was, you know, without putting the tape on, seemed like he had his A game going for sure.
It seems like on offense as well, you've got so many different guys who can hurt you, and the defenses sort of have to pick their poison. Is that a luxury for you to have guys like John, Dante, Chico, and then your backfield, you know, the three-headed monster running back?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all very unique. You know, they're all different. They all have a completely different skill set, but they're all really explosive players and can make plays. And then what's nice with Jake in there, you know, he's not gonna lock into one of those guys. He's gonna really go where the coverage dictates he goes. And so when they all can hurt you, you know, teams are going to mix up coverages, and Jake's pretty good at finding where it should go and go in a hurry.
Chris, so many teams have tried to stop Christian McCaffrey. What was working for you guys tonight?
Well, I think the big thing is, like we were talking about, I mean, I think it starts in the line, in that defensive line, you know, eating up blocks and getting off blocks. And I thought we tackled well overall, and I thought in that third quarter we started to slide back. I think he started to show who he is. I mean, he is a hard guy to tackle. Of course, from our side, we're like, we're not tackling. We missed him about 3 or 4 different times, and he was converting those third downs. But he's that good. But I think it starts in the line, and I thought we tackled well. And it was nice to just contain him. I know he was close a couple times, and we tripped him up, but whatever it takes, huh?
In the game plan, in terms of the kicking game, kicking to him, or just were you just trying for touchbacks and it just?
Well, no. You were always trying for touchbacks, but like I said, even before, you tell your kicker to try for a touchback, he's going to kick it to about the 10. That's what always happens. And so we were going to kick to him a little bit, but we weren't going to kick to him the whole time. And because, you kick to a great returner enough, he's going to hurt you. And he did hurt us on that one, and that was scary. And ball wasn't really kicked where we wanted it to be kicked. And so, Trish has been a really big weapon for us on our kickoff coverage. That one was mishit a little bit, misplaced. And we didn't cover like we should have, and he hurt us on it.
7 sacks and 8 tackles for loss in your wildest. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, I'd like to say yeah, sacking those guys that many times, no, I wouldn't have thought that. And I think one thing that really helped that too is we kind of got them out of their game plan where they had to throw it probably more than they wanted to throw it, and then our guys could pin their ears back a little bit. So, by the offense clicking early, being pretty efficient, I think that kind of took them a little bit. That's not necessarily where they want to be in terms of their style.
Chris, when you finally decided to leave Boise and come to a program like this, I mean, you've built this program for almost 3 years now. Is this a night like this? How much did this approximate what you had in mind?
Yeah, it's hard for me to really say because I don't know what I had in mind. I just know it was just a timing thing. I've said that a lot of times. It was just time. I mean, that's a great place over there, and it was just time for me to do something different. And I've always admired Washington, and I thought that this place fits what I'm all about, and I thought we could get really good players to come here, and all that. And so, I mean, I certainly envisioned having an elite program and being able to compete with the better teams in this league. But like I said, I mean, we're not there. I mean, I'm not saying we're there. I just know how this thing goes. And if you sleep on anybody or you start feeling like we got it figured out, I know what comes next. And so these kids, they've been fun to coach because they've been really, really businesslike, and they practice hard. And if we keep doing that, I like our chances. because they'll compete hard.
How much do your individual units compete on the defense, the levels, the DBs, the linebackers, the defensive line in practice? How much do they sort of compete for pride as units?
Yeah, there is a lot of that going on. We have a little bit of depth, and we've stayed relatively healthy, and so that really helps that cause for sure. I mean, I like to get our young guys in there. You know, sometimes I didn't see enough of them in there tonight. What I'd like to see that, because I think some of these guys can play. They just need to get experience. You know, it's sometimes scary and a little hard when you're playing a team like Stanford, because you go with, you know, the guys you know and have played a lot of ball, but I like the competition, and we do have some pretty good competition, and I think we have some guys that haven't played a whole lot that we need to probably get in there a little bit more, and we will, I think, as we move forward.
In your experience, you know, you bounce back from tough losses, but how do you negotiate having such a big win when the fans are rushing the field and letting guys get back on task and just continuing to be steady and not get too hot?
Yeah, well, that'll be the next task around here, you know. But I feel pretty good about these guys. I mean, I think they get how our staff is and kind of what our whole mission and our focus is around here, and it's just kind of on to the next game. And, you know, we don't get any trophies for, you know, winning tonight. I mean, we don't. And our guys will know that. And, you know, I just want this night to be about, you know, confidence. You know, those guys taking the next step confidence-wise, because they've done everything that we've asked them to do. And you gotta go out and have success on the field, or, you know, it's hard for those guys to keep buying in and keep working like they've been working. And, you know, last year I was proud of these guys, because these guys were all young guys and they were working their tail off, and we weren't having quite the success that they were kind of looking at us, you know, like, why aren't we winning more? And sometimes it just takes time, and we just kept telling them that. But the one thing these guys have always done is they've worked and they practice hard, and we want to pride ourselves on being a hard practicing team. And we're on them too. Like, we feel if our practices are too soft, you know, and we're not really out there building skill and just kind of going through, you know, drills. That's not our mindset. And so, kind of rambling here, but just kind of getting back to what you were saying is, you know, this thing's just about going to work and just each week getting a little bit better.
Is there anything special in the locker room about playing Oregon? I mean, for your fan base, it's just a gigantic deal, but for inside the Huskies locker room, is it special? Is it different than just preparing for any other game?
You know, I just think our approach has been, it is the next game, and it's a team and a program that we have a lot of respect for. They've won a long time, and you know, all that stuff's in the past, though. I mean, it's just like us going to Arizona and we hadn't won in 10 years. I mean, that had nothing to do with this team. None of that has anything to do with this team. It's just like, this is just a new team. That's just our approach. And so, you know, we'll put the tape on. They haven't seen one snap of Oregon this season. Well, they probably watch them on TV as we watch other teams, but we haven't studied them at all. But we know that's a hard place to play. And they have really good coaches and a lot of speed. It'll be the next challenge for us.
Chris, you said earlier that, you know, when you came here, you thought you guys could get good players. What can a win like this do for recruiting?
You know, I hope it just keeps building. You know, we've said all along, the kids that we recruited here since we got here, we thought were really good players. I mean, we did. I mean, we thought we were getting good players. And I think the kids that we're recruiting now are really good players. Now, you never know until you get them and you put them in your culture. But you know, once the culture starts getting how you like it, and the coaches, doesn't have to come from all the coaches, it comes from the locker room, then things really start to move. But, you know, to really get the flywheel turning on this thing, is you got to win for a while. I mean, you got to win for a while. You know, guys got to see you for years winning. You know, these kids that are growing up, I mean, they got to see and know that you win for a long time. So it takes time. It's not about just, you know, one game or one season. I think to really, you know, build a program in a big way.
Chris, how impressive was that nearly 10-minute drive in the fourth quarter to just really put things away.
I loved it, because we're obviously trying to take time off the clock, but sometimes when you're doing that, you can take yourself right out of rhythm. And I was really nervous about that because we needed to score another touchdown. But they took the clock out and they played physical and the backs ran hard and they gave them creases. And, I don't know how long we had it. And I looked at the scoreboard a couple times and, we were pretty efficient on offense, so we were scoring. But the time of possession, and that's Stanford's game, time of possession. And after that drive, you could see the script had flipped and we had the time of possession. And so I thought that was probably one of the more impressive things the whole night was that drive.
Chris, Jake Browning probably became a national figure tonight. The country was watching to see what the Huskies were about, and he had an outstanding football game. How do you think he'll handle that type of newfound celebrity?
I think he'll handle it pretty good. He doesn't do social media, and I might even just take his phone away, but he probably doesn't talk to his parents enough, so we'll try to get him to talk to his dad more. But he'll do good. I mean, he'll be in the film room tomorrow, the next day, and grinding away. Good. Okay, thank you guys.